So today it's time for another episode of Skyblock Stonks. Every week we test a different money making method to see if it's still good or if it ever was good. The idea is that me testing these money making methods means that you probably won't have to, because you'll just be able to make a decision on whether you want to do them or not based off these videos. Now it's obviously not an exact science, but it might give you an idea. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. And today we find ourselves in the Crimson Isles. Now hunting has been around for a while, but just by me standing in this location looking at Barbarian Duke, a lot of you probably already know what I'm about to do. Now Barbarian Duke has always been pretty good in terms of making money, just because of the things that it can possibly drop. But nowadays with the addition of hunting and things like salts, this means that we get a guaranteed shard from every single Barbarian Duke. Now, if you're not sure what these salts are, they're a little bit strange in my opinion, but anyway, basically the consumables, they last for 8 hours, and then for certain, for certain shards, that means that they're a guarantee. Other ones, basically, they're an increased chance. So you get the salt in your hand, you can buy them off the AH, they're very inexpensive, you can get a stack for 25k, I think, and then you simply just click it. I already have a lot. So I already have 2 months worth, but I assume that would say 8 hours if you haven't consumed one so far. So that's key, that means that we're guaranteed a shard from every single Barbarian Duke. And the shard that you drop is the Warrior shards. Okay, these increase melee damage dealt by 25%. Now these were obviously way more expensive before a ton of people started to do this money making method. Nowadays with a sell offer, they're 220k per shard, which is not that bad. However, there is a cooldown on Barbarian Duke, so you can't kind of just spam it. But nowadays, those salts alone are not going to make you a whole lot of money like they might have done a few weeks or months ago. We need to look at the other things that this mini boss drops. So obviously we've got things like Kudra keys, magma urchins are the big ones. They sell for around about 11 million coins at the moment, which is quite nice. They're 1 in 50. But we can kind of try and edge our bets to see if we can maybe get a few more than 1 in 50. It also drops the Flaming Fist, which is an equipment piece that is currently selling for around about 14 million coins on the AH, which isn't too bad, however it is relatively rare. And of course it does drop Cyclamen Die, however, realistically that's probably not happening. It's not really within the realm of possibility. I mean, it could happen, but it probably won't. So we're going to go ahead, grind some Barbarian Dukes and see how much money we can make. At the end, we'll have a certain amount per hour value, and also we'll be able to say how many bosses we did in that specific time period and so on. So let's get to it. But just before we do, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You can also join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry, make some coins, make sure to join. Also, if you've not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Oh, I should mention, if you're not already aware, the easiest way to kill Barbarian Duke is with the Hyperion and through the floor from underneath. It's a bit strange, but it's definitely the best way to do it. You can put an Overflux or an SOS flare down if you can't basically keep up the mana that you need to continuously hype. Now, I'm not sure if the salt is working as intended in terms of actually guaranteeing a salt every single time you go ahead and use it, because the description of the salt doesn't say that should happen. But to be completely honest, at this point, the main money making is probably going to be coming from magma urchins regardless. So yeah, it's just something to note, something to keep an eye on in case it changes. So just so we can see how many bosses I do per hour after the test, before starting we have 319 kills on Barbarian Duke, looking at our bestiary, and it's just kind of a good, reference point. Now, something you can do is while you wait for Barbarian Duke to spawn, is you can kind of do a circuit between the other mini-bosses. However, considering we're mainly focusing on Barbarian Duke, I'm not going to hop between mini-bosses. I'm simply just going to stay here, because the magma urchins that you can drop from Barbarian Duke, you can also drop from the other mini-bosses. Meaning that you basically just have more chance at actually making money, which I guess is nice. But at the same time, I do just specifically want to test Barbarian Duke just for the shards as well. It can just be cool to kind of see. So something that's nice as well is you can go ahead and get multiple shards from the same Barbarian Duke. For instance, here we have already got 8 shards, which is pretty cool. We got 2 from the last boss. So something I have noticed as well is some people literally just put a black hole up there and wait for people to kill Barbarian Duke, which is really annoying. I mean, it's not actually that annoying because I'm still killing it. doesn't really matter if they're getting anything from it from my point of view. But I guess that's something you could do. I don't know. Does anyone else get the glitch where they kill, well, especially Barbarian Duke, but I think it happens for a lot of the bosses that drop loot on the ground. It just doesn't show up. I don't know why. Now, it's just randomly started doing it out of nowhere. Luckily, we've already dropped 2 magma urchins, so we're already up pretty nicely, but I don't understand why this happens, and it's really annoying. And I've restarted my game, I've restarted my game twice. I don't know what to do. I went and killed a blade soul and they reappeared, so I guess that fixes it. Cool. Now, I'm very aware that I'm late to the party with this Barbarian Duke money making method with the shards. However, I wanted to wait until it died down a little bit to see if it was still good a couple of months on after when everybody was doing it. So I guess we'll find out. Now, a couple more things to mention. Of course, you are somewhat relying on hunting, so basically the better hunting stats you have, the more shards you have, so make sure you've got your Heart of the Forest tree spec'd to hunting fortune and so on. Also, I feel like you could probably lobby hop and, you know, between lobbies to get the Barbarian Dukes quicker if you've got a timer enabled and so on. However, I'm just going to sit here and see what we can do. And oh look, that was great timing. Hello Barbarian Duke. And almost goodbye Barbarian Duke. Well, we've finished our testing. And unfortunately for this episode and the next episode, it's only going to be a 1-hour test. Now, it should have initially been 10 hours per week and then 5. But after that, it should be back to 10. It's just the fact that I'm actually recording this video and I'm actually on holiday. I'm not even at home, so I don't really want to take too much time out of the holiday. But we'll see how much we made, and then we can kind of see how much we were projected to make as well, just going off the magma urchins drop chances and so on. So we started on 319 Barbarian Dukes and we ended on 353. That means that we managed to do 34 bosses in 1 hour. Now that doesn't actually even put us on odds to drop one single magma urchin, considering they are 1 in 50. But we did actually manage to drop 2 of them. I feel like magma urchins seem to drop way more common than 1 in 50. However, I mean, I guess they are the drop chances, so take from that what you like. I mean, we got loads of pork chops and stuff. We got some leather cloth that we can sell for a little bit. So we'll insta-sell everything in our sacks. We'll go ahead and insta-sell these pork chops. Maybe we can't. Maybe our NPC sell them. We did also get some Kudra keys. I guess you could include the cost of these Kudra keys into how much money you make, but you can't really sell them on, so I'm not going to. So from magma urchins, we've made about 22 mil, but like I said, that's above odds, so yeah. And we also managed to get 53 shards, which is actually really quite unlucky. That means that on average we got around about 1.5 shards per boss. Not the greatest. And the value of these shards is around about 11.3 million coins, which is actually better than I thought, to be honest. Which means if we add up the money that we got from our magma urchins plus our Barbarian Duke shards, and then also the bit of money that we got from like leather cloth and all the other like miniature drops, we made around about 35 million coins in that 1 hour. Now, if you consider that we were above odds with those magma urchins, if we were to hit odds, we shouldn't have even dropped 1, considering we only got 34 or 35 bosses done and it's a 1 in 50. Then our total comes out closer to around about 21 or 22 million coins an hour, if we include the fraction of the magma urchin that we should have got with the amount of bosses that we did. And like I said, I think with a bit of extra luck, you could probably get more shards than I got as well. I feel like that's really unlucky. So I think a more feasible figure is probably around about 25 million coins per hour if you don't get incredibly lucky with the magma urchins. Of course, we didn't hit a flaming fist, which is 1 in 500, I believe, which would equate to my boss speeds like 1 in every 15 hours, and it's only 12 or 13 mil, the same price as the magma urchin. Now, all in all, I don't think it's a bad money-making method at all, considering, I mean, you do need a Hyperion, you need an Overflux, and some sort of mage gear, and yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Now, majority of the time, there's other people there that will help you kill the boss too if you are struggling for mana or whatever. It's not bad. It really isn't bad, and I can imagine just a couple of months ago that it would have been way, way, way better. However, it's still decent now, which is good to see. And not just the magma urchins, it's also the fact that the shards are helping with that amount of money that you make as well, which is good to see as well. But anyway, that's all for today. Once again, sorry it was only a 1 hour test, and it will be a 1 hour test next week, but hopefully after that we'll get back onto the 5 and 10 hour tests. It's not ideal, but to be honest, I kind of started this series at a bad time and didn't really think it through, considering I was preparing as many videos as I possibly could when I started the series, and now I didn't get as much done as I wanted to do before I went on holiday and so on. So, but yeah, anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed, and I hope this could help in some way for you to decide if you want to do this money making method or not. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.